So how much does an eDub conversion actually cost? Now, hopefully by this stage, you've already had a good look through the website. Maybe you've had a look at the brochure and looked around at all the details that are already online, showing you the kind of features and benefits of an eDub conversion. Now, this video is specifically about the T2 VW conversions. T2 in this context covers split screens and bay window campers. So that's from about 1950 all the way up to original bay windows, which is kind of 1979, but it does also fit into what are known as Brazilian T2 campers. So kind of as long as it still looks like a bay window or a split screen, then you're fine. So we're going to talk about the pricing specifically of that. Now, this is for a single battery box unit that goes in where the engine bay used to be. And the prices start at £63,999. And that covers you for the kind of starter pack, which we referred to as the E30 package. Now, there are lots of features on top of that to really bring the eDub conversion to life, depending on really what it is that you want your electric conversion to achieve. So it's worth considering all the other features to really work out what's the kind of project goals of what you're trying to get out of the other end of your conversion. And then looking back at the offers that are available, that should be able to give you a really clean, really straightforward idea of not just what's possible, but how much it's all going to cost as well. So the starting price there, £63,999. That does not include the vehicle itself. So most of our customers bring us their vehicles, or they source a vehicle separately and then they come to us for the conversion project as well. We can help with sourcing a vehicle if you need us to. And for that, the sky's the limit. So if you want a VW sourcing, the only thing that we will say is we try to do any of the restoration or paint work before we carry out our conversion. So anything needs to be done. If you're buying a pristine VW camper to convert, then we can get stuck straight in. But if you're purchasing something that needs some restoration, then please still let us know, because we are able to project manage that restoration work for you before we then take on our conversion, and then we can take care of any other kind of interior work and things like that afterwards. Those extra parts are kind of the sandwich, the bread to the conversion sandwich, are additionally extra, and there's no point me telling you a price for that because it could be anything. So it's best just to get in touch and say, right, I want a conversion, I don't have a camper, but I want it to look like this or to feel like this, or I've seen one like this. Just give us tons of information and I can kind of guide you in the right direction of how much that would be. So the things that make a difference in price. So there are some main things that make a difference in the core conversion system. And that's predominantly around three things: your range, your motor power, and your charging time. So range is one. We actually have three separate battery packs that all fit in the VW camp vans. Those are, we call them the E30, which is about 37 kilowatt hours. Then we've got about 44 kilowatt hours, and then we go up to the 62 kilowatt hour packs as well. And those add on, they roughly add on around £3,500, £4,500 each for each kind of step up in simply range, if that's the only difference that you wanted. In terms of power, so we have 4 different motor configurations, and those change the brake horsepower or the kilowatt power of the unit itself. So that's the ability to actually, get up the steep hills, set off quickly at lights, overtake. That's those levels, and also a top speed as well. So again, if you're used to just kind of pottering around the countryside, not really doing any top speeds, then you can go some of the lower packages. But if you want the kind of best of the best, then we can go up to much, much higher top speeds as well. Differences in motor power come in at around 1,500 differences. There are, like I say, 4 different packages. So adding on the higher brake horsepower and the higher top speed, you add on about 1,500 each time you want that increase in power. The other big one is charging speed. So the starting price comes with kind of overnight charging. That's more geared towards if your project goals are looking at, you're just going to take it out kind of on a weekend, you're going to do day trips, you're not that bothered about traveling long distances, then home charging could be perfect. So it's about 5.5 hours to recharge from a regular home 7 kilowatt charger. If you are wanting to go further distances and therefore make use of the rapid charging network here in the UK and in Europe, then you can take hold of our CCS system. Now, the CCS system costs an additional £4,000, and it gives you the ability to recharge in around 40 minutes. So it's a massive difference in terms of speed. And it also allows you to, sometimes I find as well from driving vehicles that don't have that feature, even though I'm not going a long distance, the ability to have it as just an easy stop. So I'm not having to think of where can I leave the vehicle to charge for a long time, but I can just do it en route, can stop for a coffee in a Starbucks, something like that. So those are some reasons why you might want to consider the rapid charging features as well. On top of that, there are also a handful of additional features that you can add on to your conversion as well. So we have heating, we have air conditioning, we have an off-grid inverter, we have LED upgrades, and we have power steering. There are, as I said before, there are loads of other things that we can add on. So if you need new interiors, if you want new headlining, if you want some fancy new stereo, then let us know, because we can probably do it. But those 5 are the ones that we get asked about all the time. So we put them in as key choices right at the beginning of the process. So heating sounds kind of obvious to include heating or not, but actually it is an additional extra. So traditionally your heating would have come from the engine. The engine would have warmed up and maybe eventually kicked some of that heat up towards the cab. If you've ever driven an original VW camper, you know that heat doesn't really get there. So we can add on heating, and that comes in the form of some high voltage heater bricks with airflow, and we position those behind the dash to give you instant hot air onto you in the cab. So if you're going to be using the vehicle in colder conditions, then heating is something to consider. That's about £1,500 additional pounds. Then there's air conditioning. Air conditioning is, again, if you're going to be using the vehicle in warmer climates, then air conditioning might be really useful for you. Air conditioning adds on about £5,000 to £6,000. It requires quite a lot of extra components and quite a bit of extra fabrication to fit into the vehicle as well. AC really loves lots of empty spaces, which the VW campers don't have. So we have to kind of build those in around the system. But again, it's high voltage air conditioning, plumbs it straight into the usual places, so you get pretty instant, really cold air right where you want it. Next one is an off-grid inverter. Now this, since we kind of launched it, takes a bit of extra explaining, but once people get it, they always want it. The off-grid inverter, what that's doing is it's taking the core energy power that's inside your battery pack and is transferring that to AC 240 volt power so that you can use effectively normal household appliances. Now, imagine that you're taking your vehicle and you want to be able to just stop up somewhere on the side of a road or in a kind of scenic spot, and you want to be able to use some power. So whether that's at a kind of rural campsite and you want to blow up some airbeds, or whether you are just wanting to put the kettle on at the side of a beautiful scenic view. Now, traditionally, a VW would have a gas stove, but we have the option for you to be completely emission-free, so no gas, which means you don't need a gas safety locker and you don't need any of the dropouts either. You can have an induction hob, which is so quick, honestly, to boil a kettle, it's less than a minute. And that's taking the power. You can have this off-grid inverter system added to your vehicle that would power an induction hob, and it takes the power directly from your main battery pack and doesn't lose that much range in reality. We can also fit in then 3-pin plug sockets, so you can use it to power a laptop or charge anything else up, anything that you would traditionally need a 3-pin plug for. This off-grid inverter is an optional extra, and it's only £1,500 extra, but gives you all those capabilities of having off-grid power whenever you need it. Next one is power steering. So power steering, again, something that you can get with a traditional system. So there's nothing, I suppose, flashy about having power steering specifically for an electric conversion. But while it's with us, if you want us to take care of it, we can do so, especially if your vehicle is a split screen camper. So the bay window campers, you can buy the conversion kit and we can fit it here in the workshop. The split screen vehicles, you need to remove the steering column and send it away to the company for them to retrofit it. So if the vehicle's already here in our workshop having work done, that's an easier time sometimes to take that steering column away and get that fitted. Power steering is £1,800 additional, including all the fitting and parts as well. And I will admit, having power steering on these vehicles does make them quite a lot easier to drive, a lot more fun to drive. So that's available extra. And then finally, LED lights. Again, most of our customers go for this. It's only £500 extra. Changes all of your external lights to LED. And those are classic LEDs. So they're not bright white garish lights. Although now I've said that, if you want bright white lights, apologies for saying the word garish. If that's what you want, you can have it. But traditionally, people choose to go for the kind of off-white or the kind of cream coloured lights, so that from a colour tone perspective, they look original, but they're brighter, they use a lot less power, and they're kind of instant on as well and don't cause any heat with warming up and down. So those are all the extras as well. Now, like I said before, get in touch to ask us about any other restoration jobs, and we will talk you through the entire scheduling of how that needs to work out. You can secure your conversion with us today on the website by going to the order page, and it's a £2,500 deposit, and that just simply gives you a slot in our schedule. So we are starting to book up more and more into the future with conversions so that you don't lose out on a slot. Then you can put a deposit down to secure that space, and then we can discuss the logistics of getting your conversion taken care of. So hopefully that's answered any questions that you might have over how much does a VW camper van cost.